Hi, everybody. My name is Ruham Manzoor, and I'm the managing partner of Maces. I'm really happy to talk about a special concept today. When we send students abroad, most of the times we send them for traditional courses like business, engineering, and medicine or something like that. But very rarely we see people who are actually interested in the creative side of things. So I'm really happy to have with us representatives from CSVPA. My first guest today is Sarah Kaiser. She's the country manager for CATS and CSVPA in Bangladesh, but she's based out of Dubai. She speaks English as well as Bangla very fluently, so she can answer questions in Bangla. But she also speaks Arabic, so if somebody speaks Arabic, she can probably help with that. Right, Sarah? You're muted. You're muted, Sarah. We also have with us, yeah, so what were you saying?
I was saying my Arabic is very bad. It's very little.
Okay, so we will only ask you questions in English or Bangla. We also have with us Aldo Gordani, and he's a subject expert for anything CATS related or CSVPA related. And so I'll let him introduce himself in a bit. But before that, I want to introduce our our third guest today, and this is our very own Namira Tanzim. Namira is actually one of our students who is finishing at CSVPA, and she will be matriculating into her undergraduate degree this September. Hey, Namira, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
I'm so excited to learn, what you have learned and, how your experience was. I'll start with Sarah. So, Sarah, how long have you been working with, CATS, CSVPA, and what has your experience been?
So I've been with CATS and CSVPA for nearly 2 years. I've been in this industry for close to 8 years now. I've done it all from agency to university and pathways. With CSVPA and CATS, it's been a great experience. It's been a challenging one, obviously, because COVID, but at the same time, it's been a wonderful experience. And I love art. I love creativity. So to me, this is one of my favorite things, is being able to talk to students about something I love so dearly.
That's awesome, because and one thing I must understand, because in other subjects, I can understand like how remote teaching works. It would be interesting to find out how remote learning and teaching works at CSVP, especially for creative things. Aldo, so how long have you been working with CSVPA and CATS?
Well, at CATS and CSVPA for the past 5.5 years, almost 6 years, but who's counting? So it's been a while, but I got acquainted with CATS and CSVPA when I was a student, actually, almost 16 years ago. At the time when CSVPA was just a department within CATS College, Cambridge, and it grew to become its own school and university. One of my best friends at the time, actually, Oli Lockyer, was looking up. Was one of the students at CSVPA Performing Arts. He was studying acting and drama at the time, and then he progressed on to become an actor in one of the most famous TV shows in England, which is Made in Chelsea. I'm not sure if any of the viewers have watched the show. Yeah, quite a few actors and famous people.
I would love to know more about that, because like the success in the performing arts section, how they do it, what is the process? It would be very interesting to know. Namira, so what made you? How did you convince your parents to let them, let you study something? You're studying fashion, right?
Yeah, like art and
so
design.
How did you?
Art.
So how did you convince them to make you study?
Yeah, basically, after I completed my O-levels, I was fully a business student. So I basically really like studying other subjects because I was so much into art and fashion. Like, I could like always think about art and fashion. So like I talked with my parents about it, that I don't want to study business or any other subjects anymore, and I want to focus on the subjects that I love. So after that, they were like, at least complete your A levels, and then you can just study fashion or anything else in university. But I still wasn't ready for that. So I then went to Macy's to, because on that time I didn't have much idea about what I can do regarding my studies. So I went to Macy's, I talked with them based on that I love fashion, and Bangladesh does not like have any subject in A levels or O levels. Like, they don't have fashion. So like, what else can I do about it? So this is when they suggested me about like CSVPA. They told me about CSVPA and what programs do they provide, and this is when like I applied there. And after they have gave me an offer, I told my parents about it. This is when I convinced
I
them.
still remember that conversation with your dad,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I
Like they were
remember
very
there was
strict
some.
about my studies, so yeah.
No, it
But
was
I'm
so
glad that
interesting.
they
Yeah,
really support me right now, and yeah.
that's awesome. Actually, we already have a shout out for you. Your friend Kenat is like, "That's my girl, Namira." So, we're getting some love your way. The way we're gonna do this is, I think Sarah is gonna show us a presentation on CSVPA and its portfolio and what it has to offer, and then Aldo, I think, will add to it, and then we will get into some questions. Sarah, you want to share your screen with us?
Yes, I'm trying to make it a very quick, short presentation. But if at any point you have any questions, any one of you, please feel free to reach out.
Well, you're probably gonna get to regret saying that, but anyway.
So, hold on a second.
There we go.
I think you can see yourselves on my screen, but can you now see the presentation?
Yes, and if you go full screen, then here we go.
Awesome, great. So first of all, welcome to Cambridge School of Visual and Performing Arts. It's a very specialized and very small boutique-style art and design institute based in Cambridge, the UK. We don't have a lot of courses. What we do have, we do it very well, and we are very specialized in them. So we have a few BA courses, we have a few MA programs, and we have quite a few foundation, extended diplomas, and performing arts programs. So I just wanted to quickly take you through what makes us unique. So one of the main attributes I would say is Holly Fulton, who is head of fashion at CSVPA. So these are some of the media coverage that we received when Holly came on board. So CSVPA is the only university/institute in the world who actually have an active fashion designer who is teaching a degree program. So Holly Fulton, she's the head of our fashion program, BA programs, and she also contributes to our MA programs as well, MA fashion degree. So these are some of the coverage. You can see Vogue, you can see Harper's Bazaar, you can also see Cambridgeshire Live, and more, obviously, and Sunday Times. So just wanted to put it out there. So she's pretty well regarded in the UK. And how does this help our students? This is fantastic because of all kinds of contacts and networking and workshops that she brings in with her contacts to our students. So about us, as I mentioned, we are Cambridge School of Visual and Performing Arts. We are dedicated to art and performing school in the center of Cambridge. We offer diplomas, foundation, undergrad, and postgrad across art and design, fashion, music, and performing arts. What we care about is career. So how we have established ourselves is, in a way, for our students, we're career first. We are technical, we are very practical. So we want to make sure that students have a foot in the door even before they have completed the degree, or by the time they've completed, they're ready to enter the careers. All of our courses are practical. One of the main aspects of CSVPA is who we hire. So literally all of our academic staff are current professionals. So not only are they currently working on their own skills and their own art, they're also academia and teaching. And most of them are highly regarded, or they are well-established and well-published academics. And not only are they teaching at CSVPA, but they're teaching at some of the top schools as well, like Central St. Martin's or Chelsea School of Art. Again, just to give you an example, our BA fashion students received national press for their final collections. Our MA students have gone on to work for global brands such as Vivienne Westwood and Esquire magazine. And our extended diploma and fashion and foundation graduates have been accepted into some of the top universities and conservatoires, such as Parsons, Central St. Martin's, Kingston, Trinity Lebanon, RADA, University of Westminster, and more. Your creative space. So our students at CSVPA get their own space to create, to design, to rehearse, to practice. They get their own mannequin. They're given all the materials. They have access to the studio 7 days a week. They're taught 5 days a week, where most universities only teach 4 days a week. I think Namira can speak more about this, as she's currently studying with us.
Yes.
Courses available. So we have extended diplomas, which are the 2-year diplomas. Usually these are for students who have not done the A-level requirement to enter the art foundation. So for our extended diploma and our foundation courses, these are awarded by University of Arts London. As you might know, UAL is ranked number 2 in the world. It's one of the best art and design universities there is, especially their colleges like Central St. Martin's or Chelsea School of Art. These are some of the highly regarded colleges. So this is basically one of the best foundation or extended diploma there is in the market for students if they want to progress to UAL or Parsons or some of the top universities. So these are under the extended diploma. We have art and design, creative media production. Under art and design foundation courses, we have art and design, 3D design, graphic and illustration, fashion. We also have few BA courses and MA courses. As you can see, we don't have a huge list of thousands of programs. We literally are very concise, and we have the programs we made sure we have these in such a way that we're teaching practical, we're teaching skills, and we're helping students with possible collaborations and industry links before they even finish their degree. So we have BA courses in graphic illustration and fashion, and then in fashion branding and creative communication. We have 5 master's degree, which are art and design, graphic design, illustration and animation, fashion branding. We also have a pre-master and a graduate diploma, which are about 2 terms. Pre-master is 1 term and graduate diploma is 2 term. These are for students who it's a bridge between their bachelor's and then coming to a master's in the UK. And we also have performing arts courses. So we have drama, musical theater, dance, music, and this year we have added a few more. So I wanted to highlight something about our MA programs. So the unique opportunities that our MA students have. The MA programs offer outstanding specialist tuition combined with extensive academic contact and studio access. As a master's student, students will have exclusive access to media and industry expertise through Hearst Magazines UK. Hearst Magazines UK are the biggest publishing brand in the UK, publishers in the UK. Under them, there are about 25 magazine brands, including Elle, Harper's Bazaar, Cosmopolitan, Esquire, etc. So our MA students have access to regular workshops with key industry stakeholders, industry projects, internships, opportunities through Hearst Magazines, which is part of their program, which is between 4 to 6 weeks. Individual design space, lectures who are visible and accessible 5 days a week. opportunities to expand and enrich their ideas through daily interaction with students from not just their group, but from other disciplines. So under Hertz Magazine, 25 iconic brands. So as part of our MA program. So our BA, our bachelor's and our master's programs and our graduate diploma is awarded by Falmouth University. Falmouth University is another top-ranked creative art university in the UK. So CSVPA essentially don't have our own degrees. What we do is how we teach them makes us very unique and very technical. So even though the MA programs that we have are awarded by Falmouth University, but we still have something which is very exclusive. That is our partnership with Hearst Magazines. Part of that is our MA students will get 4 to 6 week internship as part of their MA program at any of the Hearst Magazine brands to complete their degree, to graduate. So this is basically getting students their foot through the door, getting them contacts, networking, getting them into some of the best magazine brands, so that they potentially, especially as MA and BA students, have the potential for post-study work after they finish their degrees. This could mean potential jobs for them. So some of the brands are Men's Health, Elle, Harper's Bazaar, Country Living, Esquire, Women's Health. So yeah, these are some of the fantastic brands that's there.
Wow.
Yeah. So our awarding body, as I mentioned, so our extended diplomas and our foundation courses and few of our performing arts programs are awarded by UAL. Our BA programs and MA programs are by Falmouth University. So Falmouth University is a specialist provider of creative education and art. They are also a gold ranking university in teaching excellence framework. Just to mention our fees. So for the most expensive program at CSVPA is our extended diplomas and our foundation programs. So that's mainly because these are awarded by UAL, which is one of the highest ranked universities in the world. B, it's also how much more support and how much more teaching, how much more one-to-one, how much more specialized and specialized and personalized the programs are to our students, which is why it's very expensive. It is pretty expensive, but we do have amazing scholarships for students who have fantastic portfolios. Our BA programs are pretty standard in terms of fees, but again, there is some scholarship available for students with fantastic portfolios. Our postgraduate students, we have for our master's degrees is approximately £23,000, and there is again scholarships available. So again, scholarships available for extended diplomas and foundation, up to 45% scholarships on a tuition fee for any student coming through Macy's and from Bangladesh. So for our BA degrees, up to 30% scholarships on tuition fees. For our MA, sorry, I said MA, MA degrees, up to 40% scholarship in tuition fees. These are my contacts.
Just to cut you, Sarah, sorry for getting in. I know for a fact that a lot of our students have received these scholarships, so you've been very supportive in that. So just to understand, the foundation is approximately £30,000. So it is possible to get 45% scholarship from that £30,000.
Yes, so definitely. So out of the £30,000. Or £31,000, up to 45% scholarship is available in a way which literally makes us even cheaper than the same foundation at UAL.
Ah, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And the MA degree you said was £23,000. So if you get a 40% as
yes, correct.
Sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. So that makes it about close to £14,000. for the MA?
Approximately, correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to emphasize, when it comes to the extended diploma and foundation, yes, in fact, with the scholarship, it's even lower price than UAL, for example. But at the same time, the students get so much more because at UAL, for example, you have to buy your own materials. At any of the other universities, you'll have to buy your own materials. And usually the teaching is only 4 times a week. Whereas at CSVPA, you're getting teaching 5 days a week. So 1 extra day per week of teaching, plus the materials are covered in your fees, and also you have your
Like
own
art supplies, you mean?
Yes. Students,
wow.
for example, fashion students get their own mannequins. Graphic students will get an iMac. And they'll get their own workstations, and it's your workstation until you finish the program.
Wow. Okay. So until they finish the program, they're going to have full access to that workstation.
Correct. So I tried to keep it very concise. So this is why this is all the information I could fit in. But please, if you have more questions, I would be very happy to answer them for you.
There are so many questions. Sarah, thank you so much for going over that. I'm sure we will get to that. But it's really interesting because it seems to me that it's a very high-end product, but with the scholarships and everything, it becomes very accessible to students. Aldo, I guess you were going to cover a little bit about the performing arts thing, what kind of degrees are there and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And just to complete, add a few points to Sarah's about all the benefits at CSVPA. I would say the biggest benefit it's the amount of individual time they receive by the lecturers and the small size seminars, maximum 15 students per class, compared to other universities where you don't get to receive that much attention because obviously there's so many people. So the small classes give CSVP students that extra opportunity to get feedback on a daily basis, not just at the end of the semester. And that shows in the National Student Survey, where we scored 100% student satisfaction for the 2nd year in a row. Wow. That's a National Student Survey, so it's independent, showing that students are really happy with extra tutoring that they receive, the attention, all the free stuff, of course. So how can they not be? So yeah, highly recommend to students to visit our website, check the National Student Surveys, and see for themselves. Regarding performing arts at CSVPA is equally as good, and students, of course, receive the same amount of personalized advice and feedback on a daily basis, and individual lessons every week, a couple of times a week, for the different programs that we have. At CSVPA, we offer 4 programs at extended diploma, so 2-year course, as well as foundation. Those are music, drama, musical theater, and dance. So we offer 4 different pathways for students in performing arts. Our drama foundation is exceptionally good. We have students almost every other year getting into RADA, and I'm sure that anybody from the audience who knows about performing arts and drama and getting into some of the top drama schools, such as the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, is extremely hard because there is 4,000 applications and they select just 14 of those, and to send the students every other year at RADA is an achievement. So yeah, I would definitely recommend CSVPA for both performing arts and visual arts.
I'm going to jump to Namira a little bit. Namira, you joined CSVPA back in 2019. That is pre-COVID, right?
Yeah, it was like 2020 January.
Oh, right, 2020 January. So yeah. You just got in. You had a beautiful 0 COVID time, and then March everything shut down. So tell me about your experience. What did you learn from, like, you went to study fashion, fashion design and everything. Tell us about your journey there. I mean, especially I'm interested in knowing, it's been about 1 year and 4 months that you have gone to CSVPA. So where were you when we started, and where are you now?
Okay, so when I went to CSVPA, I didn't have much idea about how things will work there. I was very new to this. So for the first year, it was about it wasn't about fashion. It was completely about art and design subjects. Like we had six subjects, such as like we had photography, fine arts, visual studies, moving image. So they have taught us all this. And after the first year, when we will be like going to the second year, they would give us an option to choose our specialism subject based on the subjects we have studied in the first year. So I chose fashion, and in the second year, I'm currently studying fashion. Yeah,
So,
and it was really amazing. I
yeah,
really
sorry.
love their studios and everything, like a lot of space in the studios, and they have all the materials available. So I think like I really love CSVPA.
And this is one thing that, so you did you have a portfolio before you joined, or did you have to
No, I
when you got,
didn't.
so
No,
now
I
you
didn't.
have a
Like so,
portfolio, obviously.
yeah, I do. Like in the first year, they have trained us on how to do things, and in the second year, so as we had to apply to the universities, we had to make our own portfolio. So the teachers have like taught us and guided us on how to do things, and based on that, like with all of the research and everything, we made our portfolio in the studio, and then like the college have eventually helped us like with the process of applying to the university through UCAS. So we have submitted the portfolio there, and I got accepted to like different universities. And like from there, I need to like make my decision on which one I want to go by June. Like
Okay,
after
all
I
right.
graduate, yeah.
Well, we are really, really looking forward to seeing some Namira Tanzim fashion line, or whatever you're gonna do. So we're gonna get to some questions in a second, yeah, and we'll ask you about your career plans as well. But the first question is, what are the IELTS requirements? Also, could you talk about scholarship opportunities? That was gonna come. So who, I don't know, does Sarah or Aldo, who wants to answer that?
I can answer that. So, in terms of our IELTS requirement, each of the programs have a bit of difference, but you will also notice that normally, let's say for the foundation or extended diploma, the IELTS requirement is it's not that high. So, usually we're looking at 4.5 to 5.5. If it's a foundation, normally by UK government requirement, you need 5.5. If it's an extended diploma, because extended diploma is technically level 2, it's very low. So level 3 actually. So because of that, 4.5 in IELTS UKBI. For our BA programs, it's between 5.5 to 6. And for masters, it's 6.5 with minimum 5.5. So that's the IELTS requirement. And as I mentioned, in terms of scholarship, each of the programs, we have separate scholarships. So extended diplomas and our foundations, we have up to 45% scholarship available. Our BA programs have up to 30%. Our MA programs up to 40%. And this will all mainly depend on obviously student meeting our academic conditions, but on top of that is meeting our portfolio requirement. Because keep in mind, the awarding bodies are either UAL or Falmouth University. So we will have to have the same standards in terms of entry requirement and same kind of critiquing in terms of the portfolio.
Right. So the next question is, do you provide on-campus accommodation? And more importantly, is it mandatory, or can students choose to be placed around the campus in private accommodation?
Okay. So yes, we have our own campus accommodation. It is not mandatory for students to take that on, but it is recommended to them, because then obviously when we have a world pandemic going on, it becomes easier to look after a student when we know where they are and we're basically looking after them. But and even in general, especially if they're living with other students. So there's like almost like a family community environment that they can benefit from. And usually our accommodations are quite close, so students have a lot of access to studios and such. But if they don't want to live in our accommodation, they have the option of living independently. But these are available to students who are 18 plus. Usually for under 18, especially who are 16 and 17-year-old, we strongly, unless they have family member, we need them to stay in our accommodation, because technically, as we're giving visa, as we are taking on the student, we are responsible for them.
So yeah, I mean, if they're under 18, have to stay on campus. If they're not, then they can choose. Next question is, location-wise, the campus is right next to Cambridge University and Trinity College. So would it be expensive?
Well, Cambridge on its own is very kind of expensive. I think I will let Aldo speak a little bit more about because he lives in Cambridge. So, Aldo, how expensive is Cambridge?
I would say it's possibly, they say, it's the third most expensive city in the UK after London and Oxford, which is to be expected. Really, it's a beautiful city. It's only 45 minutes by train to London. So if you want to go and see a gallery or a museum, you're just a 45-minute train ride. And for that, obviously, you pay almost London prices, but slightly cheaper than London. But as you said, the college, the school is just a few steps away from Cambridge Trinity College. So right at in the middle of the high street. So really easy access for students. They can shop around, go for a coffee by the river. So it's a beautiful town, Cambridge.
I can personally share as a visitor. I was there a couple of years ago, and again, I loved the city. The university itself is so magical, and there is a lot of people around. It's very bustling, I guess. And I saw the CSVPA. Well, I didn't get into the campus, but I saw the location. It seemed like really centrally located, so students will not be alone at all. And of course, they have their own accommodation, which really they can take advantage of.
Yeah, it's a small city, but it's full of life, as you said. It's buzzing. It's the majority of the people living in Cambridge are students, so it's quite a young population. There's a lot going on, as I said. Yeah,
making me so jealous. I feel like I want to go back to maybe fashion design. Who knows? There's no age for that. Okay, so the next question is it hard to find jobs in creative arts?
I think this is where we as CSVPA are quite excellent. So the theme of CSVPA is practical, skill-based, and contacts. So this is why from day one, our programs are so skill-based and so practical. And this is also why we hire current professionals who are in the industry, who are on their own making their mark in the industry, and then there are academics. This is also why we have one of the popular fashion designers in the UK as head of BA fashion or head of fashion at CSVPA. So they bring in their contacts, they bring in their network, and not only are they helping students while students are studying with us, but also after students are graduating. They in a way help push them into their right careers. So, for example, the collaboration with Hearst magazine has enabled our students to get jobs or internships with Elle magazine, Esquire. Some of the students who did in the first batch who did the internship, quite a few of them ended up getting full-time job offers from Hearst magazine brands. Yes. So some of the other students from our BA fashion, for example, 2 years ago, we had a competition. We hosted a competition from Superdry. Superdry is a elite athleisure brand, and they did a competition for our BA fashion students, and the winning student had their collection published by Superdry. And similar others. A few of our students have gone on to work for Stella McCartney. Some of them have gone on to work with Vivienne Westwood, with quite a few of the Hearst magazine brands. And this is the hope. Like most of the students so far have been European or British students, obviously, because post-study work has only been into effect. But now that that's been open for international students, and there's a huge creative industry in the UK. In fact, pretty much they say, let's say for even creative arts or even graphics and illustration, and quite a bit of that. Most of the artwork or most of the, let's say, movies that are made in Hollywood at some point have been at a British animation house or
and I noticed that a lot of times the awards for fashion, the costumes are usually going to some British company. So I mean there is that.
Exactly. So there is so much opportunity, and we want to make that even more. And that's why we have so much technical skills involved, so much practical skills for our students. So
we have quite a few questions. So I'll go and skip into another question. So can students go directly into work, or they still have to finish their undergraduate? I guess this is a question for the diploma or foundation seekers. So if they're doing that, can they go directly into work, or do they have to finish their undergraduate degree if they get a job, I guess, before?
Well, so with the post-study work, for example, right now, the rule is students have to finish a degree program. So it could be a BA degree or a master's degree, but it has to be a degree. Usually with foundation or extended diploma, this is only level 3 and level 4 in the UK. It does not technically qualify them for post-study work, unless if I don't know, one of the biggest companies in the world and they are able to sponsor, perhaps. But if they really want to utilize the post-study work, or they really want to, get the time to make it in the UK, I would strongly recommend they finish at least a bachelor's degree.
I mean, just to answer the question from our side, jara shunche ar ki mane, when you're going for a foundation or diploma, you're really creating your creative space. You know where you're going. You're creating your portfolio, and usually you don't get hired right after that. Anyway, to get into the post-study work, the 2-year, you need to finish your bachelor's or undergrad, bachelor's or master's. Now, having said that, if you, for example, are extremely talented and right after the foundation, I mean, you've created such a portfolio that you're getting picked by, somebody, some famous fashion designer, and they can actually sponsor you, take you away from undergrad, you might be able to do that. I mean, the whole world is your oyster, right? But, it's rare. That usually you need to at least finish your undergraduate degree. Come back to art for now. So you mentioned, Sarah, when you were doing the presentation, that the master's programs, they have 4 to 6 weeks of internship built in. Is it a paid internship?
No, it's not a paid internship, but it's a credit internship. So what I mean by that is students will get credit towards their master's degree. This is for example, they have to have their final portfolio and thesis to graduate. So the internship is part of the final thesis and final bit of the master's degree. And it really helps students, A, make contacts, B, actually see a real life. If it's possible, I would actually recommend if interested students would go to YouTube and just Google CSVPA MA program. They'll see so many testimonials of students, how they benefited from our internship and how, what they're doing now or why they think this is an excellent program.
So Sadri, to answer your question, it can be a paid internship in the sense that it's not a paid internship while you're doing it, but if you do a really good job, you might get picked and get a full-time job later on. So in turn, that is the biggest payout, right? That
Absolutely.
is, you built your portfolio to do that.
Absolutely.
Sarah, you've answered pretty much, I think, most of the questions that are out there right now. However, we'll just go over quickly. So will I get PSW after of course, if you finish your bachelor's or master's, you will get it. Another question is, why should students study at Cambridge School of Visual and Performing Arts? What makes this school unique? Where and how can students progress to one's student? I guess you've covered it, Sarah, but I think this is a very good way to summarize everything you said.
Okay, so why CSVPA? Because we are all about, we are practical, we are skill-based, we're technical. So if you're coming to become a fashion designer, we are here to hook you up. We are literally here to hook you up with all the right contacts. We are here to hook you up with all the right experiences. Imagine being a fashion student or a creative arts student and actually training under a named fashion designer, award-winning fashion designer in the UK. That's the kind of skills we are talking about. That's number one. Number two is that this is, again, it's all about contacts and it's all about practical. We are not preparing you for books, we are preparing you for a career. So what this 3 years, if you're in a BA, or the 1 year if you're in an MA or the foundation, is that you are learning, you're enhancing, you're pushing yourself creatively to become the best version of yourself possible to really stand out.
Sarah, I'm going to end with a couple of questions for you. One is for bachelor's program or master's program, do you need portfolio to get in?
Absolutely, we do. So if it's a, our BA and our MA programs are obviously visual arts. So for them, we definitely need portfolio. Pretty much all our programs are portfolio based. Even the foundation and extended diploma, because we need to see the skills the students have, because that's what we are going to work with to enhance and help them, better that. So in terms of BA and masters, depending on the level they are, their skills will show how elevated they are and how skillful they are. With a bachelor student, we expect them to have good portfolio, but it doesn't have to be fantastic because we know, we want to be able to work with it. Usually with master students, they need to have a really skillful and experienced portfolio because they've already gone through so much training, and we are trying to take them towards literally the end of it and have pushed them towards, fantastic career opportunities.
Namira, oh sorry, did you want to say something? I interrupted you.
I just wanted to say quickly how we look at portfolios. So it doesn't have to be huge. We're not looking for like your whole life story. We just want like 10 to 12 pages, sketch work, drawings, a bit of like different mediums, different materials used, and obviously explanation. Nothing older than 2 years. And most of them should be finished pieces, but we do want to see 1 or 2 pieces that are in progress, or the process of those pieces, because then it shows where the student was taking it creatively.
Great. This is very important, I think, valuable for people who are applying, because this is something. And anyway, a lot of you might have questions later on. You want to apply, you don't know how to. Please get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us by Facebook. You can message us. You can call us at 017-5566-0012. You can email us at mail@macesbd.com, and our website is macesbd.com, and you can fill up an inquiry from there. It was such a pleasure having CSVPA, specifically Namira, one of our students. It's always great to catch up. Namira, I have a question for you. Before we go, 5 years down, where do you see yourself? What is your career plan?
Okay, so I always wanted to be a fashion designer, and basically I mainly plan to go back to my country and do something there, because I think specifically Bangladesh needs something really specific for fashion design out there. Basically, students studying here eventually plan to get a job in different brands, but I really don't want to do that. I would just go back to my country and start off with a new brand.
And you're going to be so good, Namira. One thing is that there are lots of people who are doing fashion designing in Bangladesh, but they don't have the formal skills for it. and there is certainly a huge demand. We are a country of 160 million or 180 million, who's counting, a million people, and there is a lot of, and it's developing at super speed, where our economy is growing and the buying capacity is increasing. So gone are the days when we have to depend on cheap Chinese stuff. I mean, of course, there's going to be there, but there is a huge demand for local fashion designers, local fashion houses to make their mark, and I'm sure you'll do a great job in that. Although it was such a pleasure having you. Any last words? Sorry.
I would just like to say a few words out there. It's just for the parents in Bangladesh. Basically, to the parents, most of them out there don't really think fashion or art subjects, mainly the creative subjects, can do well in the future for the students. And based on that, the creative students out there don't get to study into the subjects, and rather they study other subjects out there. So it's to the parents, like being creative, it's really a god gifted thing. And I think you should really let your child study whatever that person like really wants to study, because I think this subject really has a future, and like your child can do great.
You said such a beautiful thing, Namira, because I really believe that. And to all the parents out there, this is really true. I see this all the time. I'll give you a story. Sorry, this is going a little bit longer. About 7 years ago, this the student came. He wanted to become a chef, and he wanted to study culinary arts. And his father is a huge doctor. He owns 3-4 hospitals, and really serious guy. And the son is like, he came to me and he's like, please, can you have a talk with my father, because he wants me to study medicine, and I really don't. I love being a chef. Like, I want to become a chef. That's my dream. And I had a sitting with the dad, and I explained to him that, look, you have all the money in the world, and that's not gonna take. I mean, he's gonna be there. He has that thing, but he wants to do this. Once he finishes and he does something, if he's not successful, he has tried something and he's not successful. But at least he has, done this. And I'll tell you, 4 years later, I mean, he did allow the student to study that. And 4 years later, I met the father in a wedding randomly, and I didn't even remember him. And the father came to me and said, hey, so I am this guy's son. He wanted to be a chef, but I wanted him to be a doctor. And I remembered, because it was a special case. So I was like, yes, you're that guy's dad. And he's like, he had tears in his eye, and he's like, listen, I must thank you. He graduated and he prepared a beautiful meal for me, and it was such a great thing to see him so happy, and it was such a great thing. It made my day. So parents sometimes allow students to do that. Sometimes, a lot of times, they don't, and it's really sad to see when that happens. So I'm really glad your parents allowed you to study that, and I hope
I'm really glad for that too. Like, my parents are really supportive, but this message was just for the other parents who thinks on a different way, and whom I think should really support their child.
I just wanted to add
that was
one
great.
if that's okay. I mean, that's brilliant. And Namira, I always get amazing news about you from the college, and it just makes me so happy, because as a fellow Bengali, I'm like, anyone in creative art, my heart does a small dance. So it's absolutely amazing. But I also want to add that creative degrees are literally the future. The future.
That I know.
That is it. The days of the same thing is over. So again, thank you so much for speaking with us. It was such a great show. I loved talking to you guys. And with that, we have come to the end of another one. Guys who are watching, please do visit us. Send us inquiry, apply, and be creative, and force your parents to get you to do what you want to do and follow your dreams. Thank you so much.
Thank you.